Other things to think about are the resource base, those people involved in your operation, and the skills and knowledge of those people. What can they contribute to your farm? I like that there's so many of you involved in this class that are families taking this together. So there's, you know, a farm signed up, and there may be 2 or 3 of you that are working on this, because this is the way that you should be planning with your whole, you know, your whole group of family or partners or whoever's going to be involved in the farm. And look at your land, water, and soil resource base and what they have to offer. Everybody's going to have different resources to use, and that, you know, those things will decide what works best for you. And then don't forget to think about family. I was kind of alluding to this. You know, you can't ignore family in farming, because farming's a lifestyle. Every choice you make affects your family as well. It's not like you leave leave home to go off to your job like I do. Everything is so intertwined and connected with your family on the farm that they need to be involved in the process. And then look at your goals. We talk about SMART goals, and what we're looking at is, are they realistic, and are they specific enough that you can measure them, and how can you get there, and what are the action steps to achieve those goals? And we're going to go into that right here. So you know, you're going to develop these kind of big picture goals for your plan, but what I'd like you to do is also look at the short-term goals that are going to get you there. So maybe in the long term you want to own and farm 20 acres of land in the Pacific Northwest. Okay, that's a long-term goal. There's some specifics there. It doesn't say when you're going to, but it's 20 acres, and the location's kind of narrowed down. But the short-term action plan, or the short-term goal to get to there, is to gain knowledge about and experience in farming. And so that's a step that you can take, or something that you can put out there as a short-term goal that you can achieve. So you're achieving things step by step to your long-term goal. And let's put this in another context, like your long-term goal is supplemental farm income from production and direct market of organic garlic. And so a short-term goal to get there is to transition 1, 2, 3 acres to organic garlic in the next 2 years. So that would be a very specific and measurable goal. So while your assignment is to look at these long-term goals, also be thinking of the short-term goals that are going to lead you to that. Okay. And a big part of the plan is that you're always going to be continually reviewing and monitoring and evaluate your progress. It's not like your plan is, you know, set. It's just the first step of a continually evolving plan, but it gives you something to measure against if you're going in the right direction. So are these still your goals? How are you doing? How are you doing economically? How is you doing environmentally? You know, is your soil improving as you're building it over the years? So there's a lot of things related to how you are doing in all types of aspects. How's your quality of life? Think about that. And then steps to revise goals to get back on track. So if you're not having a very good quality of life, what can you do to get back on track? So that's how you're using these plans. So assignment number 4 that you'll find in the Moodle site, hopefully this evening, is developing your whole farm goal statement. That goal statement will be the very first part of the the farm plan, and I'm going to show you a little bit more about the farm plan in a minute. And it goes through some specific steps. And 4A is really related to that, and it is sort of a, it's not a right or wrong answer thing, it's a survey just for you to start thinking about, oh, what is, what are the reasons that I want to farm, and what are some of my interests, and what are some of my skills? And it just kind of brings those things to your top of your mind so that gets you thinking about how to develop what your goal statement is. When we're looking at goals, your project, I'm going to go back here, assignment 4, developing your goal. The first part you do, and this is just, you may not want to do it this way, but this is the way it lays it out in the assignment, is you just sort of kind of brainstorm ideas. You don't have to write down complete sentences or paragraphs or anything. Just get down some of your ideas. And then we ask you to go do that survey that I just told you about, your interest survey, and then go to this website where the Minnesota Project, it's Whole Farm Planning at Work, Success Stories of 10 Farms. And it was based on a holistic management project, and it's actually more than 10 years old, but it's got some good context. It just tells a little bit about the stories and gives their farm goals, their whole farm goals. And so on page 16 to 19, you'll read the story about seeing the big picture on a small farm from Ray and Sharon Johnson, and this is their goals: make a living with dairy, increase profits, on and on. Basically, I want you to know that they've got at least one goal focusing on economics. They've got one on sustainability. They should have something on the environment, on quality of life. You can kind of see that they do cover those 3 legs of sustainability. So that's what you kind of want to encompass in there. You can make yours more specific. You don't have to have this many. You can have more. Yours is going to be very individual to you. Just wanted to give you that idea, and there's several other examples of goals in there. So here's the whole farm template, and it will be there under week 1. The handout's under week 1. This is just page 1 of it. I wanted you to see that, well, let's see, I can even use this, I think, highlighter. Wanted you to see that this is the whole farm goals. That's where your what you develop in your assignment 4 is going to go right there. Now the next section that we'll cover here is evaluation of your current resources, and we're going to work on that next week. And so I hope to, as we go through, show you coming pages of this plan and how they relate to what we're talking about in the in that session. So you'll gradually build it. As you can see at the top, it says page 1 of 11, and this is just a format for what you might need in your plan. These, I can't remember if the PDF is one that you can fill in. It should be, but I'll have to check that. But you don't have to do it in this format. This is just a format given to you if you want to use it, right? And there'll be parts of this that you don't have anything in, and when you're done, you may only be 3/4 done with your plan, and that's okay because you don't know everything yet, so you'll be adding to it as you go. So I think that's getting us wrapped up. Are there questions, Colette?
There were a couple questions. I'm going to open that part of my email. So one of the questions that was asked for Jessica, and I think that she might just want to talk about it a little bit to the whole audience. And it was, how did you arrive at the size for your farm? Was it money, time, labor, all the above?
Sure. You know, when I decided to become a farmer, I had quit my job at the hospital. I was a patient advocate for previously, and as soon as I did that, I got a random phone call out of the blue from this old gentleman named John, and he had seen an article. I was working on a community garden project at the time, and so he had seen the article in the paper, and his one of his daughters was also a family friend, and so they called and said, you know, we have this acre of land, and you're welcome to farm it. And so me, being who I am and eager to start farming, said, great, let's do this. It was free farmland at the time, and we had worked out an arrangement where I would do some farm work around his house for him in trade for the use of his land and water. And so that's sort of that knee-jerk reaction to getting into farming. If, you know, looking back, certainly there's great value in doing it differently, but we sort of have to go with what we can when we can sometimes. And I didn't have a lot of capital to purchase my own ground. I didn't want to enter into a mortgage payment on something that I didn't know if it was viable or not. Farming is extremely risky, especially if you know, you don't know what you're doing, which, you know, I really didn't. And so that, I mean, sort of culminated into sort of just jumping in. And so that said, it's not the wisest thing to do all the time, but it does work out one way or another. And the individual who asked the question also asked, well, was it a matter of money? Was it a matter of labor force? Like, how did I arrive at that land acreage size? And really, if I'm honest with it, it's kind of what presented itself. Now, after 5 years and starting over again, I can very, very safely say that, you know, I'm going to do it right this time and plan, and you know, I know how many acres I want now and what I want to do and how to make that happen. And so there is some value in the knee-jerk reaction, but I'm able to do it differently this time around, and I think I'm pretty excited about that.
Good.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jessica. We had another question, and Cinda, this could be a good one for you to talk about a little bit. Where do I find a list of farmers and ranchers in my area?
Well, that is a good one. I'm not sure. Well, first I would try to check with the local farmers market. If there's a farmers market in your area, they might have a list of vendors that you could look from there. There's farmers on Idaho's Bounty that you might be able to contact. Up north here, we do have a couple of online farmers markets. We have Palouse Grown Market, which would identify some. We have Six Rivers Market. We have, where else, Colette? Help me.
We suggested
Tilth
people
Producers.
Tilth Producers has a directory. Local Harvest is
Yes.
can be searched online by your zip code or area. And you can see who's within a geographic area, you know, pretty close to where you are. The Eat Well Guide is another option that is more livestock oriented.
You see, I'm trying to write Local Harvest, but
right.
it's really hard to spell with your laptop mouse thing.
Yes.
Anyway, never mind.
And
That's local harvest.
I also said that we could put some more ideas in the discussion forum on the course website. Those are a couple places that I would suggest